Welcome to the J.R. Hendricks Texas Night, a podcast that deals with the early life of yours truly. Now, giving the narration, Jimi Hendrix. Beginning in June, the podcast is going to change from more of a story mode to a little bit more of some of my acting skills. So get ready. Alright. May 22nd, 1994. 11 a.m. Eastern. At Washington-Baltimore International Airport, Betsy arrives to greet Amy Kathleen. As she disembarks from the private plane, she rushes over to hug her aunt. She's excited about spending a year with her and her first year in college in Washington, D.C. Her father, Tom, had purchased her a Buick for her to drive around in Washington, D.C. 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Betsy treats Amy Kathleen and another cousin of theirs, Forever, to a lunch of baked cod, kale, green beans, and lemonade. Forever said that tonight she would go with Amy Kathleen and Betsy to a revival service at Capitol Heights Baptist Church. This is where some of the acting begins. Laurel's in downstairs guest room, fixing her hair. Until, who is it? JR. Good afternoon. Haven't seen you all day. Did you sleep well? Though I'm beginning to realize that my relationship with your father is really over. What if I can help you? You're kidding. No, it's true. You see, last night, my daddy, everybody else was asleep, I made a phone call to one of his contacts. He picked up a name of someone you know from before. Ezra Spike. Ray? President Clinton was getting ready to transfer him to Congress when Daddy was getting ready to arrive at SBA. Clinton saw that the time was right. He saw that Ezra had requested the transfer because he knew that my daddy was coming. He said something crude to you. And then he broke up with you, hoping that you would get with my father and eventually make its way back to him. That's exactly what I'm going to do. No. Not yet. Well, I don't understand. You see, I happen to know that you rode with my daddy on the way to the airport in Washington, D.C. One call from me. My daddy's contact, Andrew House, I've been talking to, who is an intellectual political radio talk show host. One call from me. And you go to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. He'll meet you at the airport. So in essence, I want to say I'm sorry for what my daddy put you through. Come on. All of the boys around him. You're the chase one. It's a traditional kind thing to do, Gerald said. I'm really sorry that you're going through this. What a gentleman. It's just the right thing to do, Gerald said. You know what? I admire you. And I'm going to miss you. I'm sorry, honey. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm sorry it came to this. He found somebody to fall in love with and plays him with a toy and then spits him out. Listen to me. You're going to despise my daddy more than you respect me. You're still a good man. "2:25 p.m. Dave's car pulls up in front. Darren pulls the Hummer in front of Ken's house. "Hey, let's roll," Ken said, getting into the truck. "Darren, man, it's always good to see you." Darren drives the car over to Dave Smith's aunt's house. 2:35 p.m. Darren pulls the Hummer over to Dave's aunt's house. "Man, I'm finally getting ready. I'm glad to be finally getting ready to do this," Dave said, getting into the truck. "Gentlemen, let's do this." You know, guys, I have to say, we did it. Each and every one of us is a junior and senior in this car, Dave said. "Yeah. And to think, it all started with that trip last summer." "Yeah, I returned to college last year with focus," Dave said. "Man, let's not focus on college," Ken said. "Let's focus on the fun cross-country trip we did last year. Think about it. Gerald's daddy charters us a motorhome. We go all over the country. We lost a person on the way," Gerald said. "Now the stories are more important. Let's focus on the positive stories, man. What we learn from them," Ken said. "I gotta say, things changed," Gerald said. "When I first started college in the fall of 91 and again in 92, I thought I would stick to broadcasting or communication studies, but I ended up going towards public affairs." "Well, can we stick to the stories?" Dave said. We did have quite a bit of fun." "We sure did," Ken said. "And it's all because of JR. Man, I thank God that he set up that trip." "Hold up. Wait a minute," Gerald said. "Ken, you were the one that started the whole plan in the fall of 92. I was the one that had to sell it to Daddy and the powers that be," Gerald said. "That's one thing I hope you learn," Ken said. "We're students of American affairs, and we help each other." "Ain't that the truth?" Dave said. "Enough said." Darren drives them to Sergeant's Hamburger Shack, a 24-hour restaurant in Midland. 5:30 p.m. Central. Betsy is in the den watching TV, feeling really lonely. She reminisces about the good times she had with her husband, most of them on the ranch. She thinks about possibly finding another man someday, even though she knows her children probably would not support that. "9:20 p.m. In the restaurant, Dave, JR, and Ken talk. "Hey, once we're done here," Dave said, "what do you say the three of us go on over to the ranch and have us a sleepover party?" Dave said. "Yeah, that sounds like wait a minute, I don't know," Ken said. "Mr. Hendrick is going to be there at the ranch tonight. He won't think too kindly of that," Ken said. "Now hold on a minute," JR said. "Mama just texted me and said he's leaving for Waco early tomorrow morning. So, we can do it." Come on, man. We know how trustworthy you are, JR," Dave said. "Yeah, that's a good point," Ken said. "Look, guys, maybe tomorrow night," JR said. "I promise." 9:35 p.m. In the car, the three boys talk. "Okay, lightning round. Who has a question for Captain Ken?" Ken said. "Where's your internship this summer?" JR asked. "Fraser Advertising in downtown Fort Worth," Ken said. "Okay, I have a question," Dave said. "Hold up, I've seen you somewhere before. Are you a Mormon?" "Yeah, and I'm a very happy one," Ken said. "You know how it is." "You know what, Ken? I kind of suspected that about you. You have a very comforting way about you," Dave said. "That's good because that's what makes me happy," Ken said. Darren drops the two guys off and then goes back to the ranch. We hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Text Tonight. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Become a part of the adventure. It's J.R. Hendrick saying until next time, take care. God bless you. And get ready for the rest of the story.